All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about getting the most tone out of one guitar as you possibly can get. Realistically, most people are going to gravitate towards one tone. I'm one of those people. So typically, probably when you watch these videos, regardless of the guitar I'm using, it kind of sounds a lot alike. A lot of it is your fingers, a lot of it is your style, and the other part is basically your settings and what you like to work with. So my evolution of my or the evolution of my tone has been when I was younger, the albums that kind of affected me or affected my playing or I wanted to sound like was basically that Gibson humbucker set in humbucker sound, and so a la ES 175. Basically, single coils weren't part of the equation as it relates to jazz. Obviously, I did a fair amount of rock playing, everybody from Eddie Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix and things of that nature. And these guys were using single coil. So I'm going to leave that realm aside for a second. So it was a humbucker sound that I liked. And it was typically, when I was listening to jazz, it was like a set humbucker sound coming out of a 175 or something very similar. So as I play a lot of these guitars, specifically Telly, and trying to get the jazz tone, one of the things that's happened is that I used to roll the tone back a lot, and it sounded good when I was playing it, but when I would play it back and I recorded myself, it would almost sound like you got a wet blanket over the amp and the notes weren't articulating as possible. So one of the things I try to do is when I look at a guitar that I'm considering buying, I'm looking for a lot of the high end, believe it or not. I don't want it to be shrill, but I'm looking for the high end because I know I can darken up just about any guitar. But it's really, really hard to get a guitar to get the high end, the treble sounds out without it being piercing, especially Telecasters, especially solid bodies. So that's one of my first criteria is doing that. Is that after that, it's about comfortability. But let's walk through this. Um, um, what do you call it? Guitar, and this is a Tamarack. It's a beautiful, beautiful guitar, and I believe these are Lindy Fralin blues that are in there. So I've got this on the neck pickup. I don't have the tone rolled all the way back. In fact, I'm going to start it off everything wide open. So everything wide open is right here. So, so when I have it wide open like that, I'm not sure it's exactly as a high endish as somebody like Grant Green's tone, who wouldn't roll anything back. Everything would just be really, really wide open. You get, I wouldn't say shrill, but if you hear this E, it's a tad bit piercing. So I start off with something like this, but I know I like the way it sounds with everything wide open, and I'm gonna love it when I roll back the tone a little bit. So I'm not gonna do the Pat Metheny thing or these guys who roll everything all the way back anymore. So right now it's wide open on the tone. I'm gonna roll back a little bit. So a little bit more. Okay, so that's a little bit roll back. That, and quite frankly, even that sound was, if you look back at some old videos, or if I listen to myself playing when I was a little bit younger, that was still too shrill for me. I still wanted it darker than that. Now, that's the tone for me that would probably cut through the mix, as they say, if I was playing with other people. But let's get a dark tone going a little bit so you can hear it a little bit more. So something like that is where I would usually have set it before, which is a much darker tone. Okay? So that's the one that might come off as mud if I'm in the mix. And there are people who would even go a little bit further. So this right here is pretty much the tone all the way back. So all right, that's definitely Mud City. So I don't want to ever have it that roll back anymore. So there's some people who still play like that, and the irony of it is like when you have your tone roll back all the way like that. I know a lot of players, they then have to put a lot of effects in front of it, like delay, an additional reverb, or a little bit of a chorus sound to fatten up this tone or basically lighten it up and bring the high end up. Well, just don't roll the tone back that much, and there's no need to try to bring back the high end and things like that. So right now I would say my sweet spot is a little bit, I wouldn't say the trebly side, but somewhere along this line. A little bit more treble. Okay, so there you have it. This is just some of my thoughts about setting up your tone wise, what you're looking for. Tone is all subjective. Not everybody's tone is going to sound the same, and what they like is not going to be exactly the same. Yeah, but the basic thing is for me, it's like most of my adjustments occur on the actual instrument, and you have to start with a quality instrument with some good quality pickups and a good setup. Obviously, I'm going through a really nice high-end amp. I'm going through a Milkman, but everything is pretty much set flat with a little bit of a dwell and a blend for the reverb. That's it. There's nothing else. Straight, no chaser. And then from that, I adjust the guitar accordingly. But pretty much, I got the sound I want in my ear. And like I said, the starting point is a nice high end, and then I dial it back somewhat, a lot less than I used to. And then, it's trial and error. It's also depending upon if you're going to be playing with other people. If you're going to be playing with other people, always set it out a little bit more than what you think you like. So if you like a really dark, warm sound, lighten that up and put in a little bit more treble, and you'll get some more high ends out of that. All right. Sorry for the long video. Practice, 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 and thank you for watching.